Hi guys, it's Daniel here, and I'm joined by our co-star,
Michael. Hello.
So it is time for our second yearly recap of 2017. We're going to be doing our top 5 each, so top 10 games of the year, what we're looking forward to in the future, probably not next year.
And what we were most disappointed by this year, and a strong lineup of games. For me, the biggest contrast between 2016 and 2017 went from the strong lineup of indie titles in 2016 to the big companies showing us why they're the big companies in 2017. With that, we dive into Daniel's number 5 game and his top 5.
So my number 5 is Farpoint VR. As you'll know me, I'm head over heels for first-person shooters, and this actually lets me live it. Like, you can see the gun. If you pull the gun close to you, you actually look down the scope. Like, you have to pull it towards you. So it was nuts to try that for the first time. Still a bit disorientating and get a bit motion sicky, but it's good fun. I'm not too far into it yet, but I've been enjoying all I have so far. It really feels like you're there. The graphics are actually amazing. You have fun with the different weapons. So far, I've got a machine gun and shotgun. It has a grenade launcher and a missile targeting system thingy, which is so much fun. I'm really keen to keep going. I've played a few of the challenges where these aliens, it's really hard because they start shooting back at you, and it's just all out fun. I get scared. VR's terrifying, fun, and I can't wait to play more.
Although in the intro I said this was the year for AAA games, I couldn't resist putting one indie title in there. So at number 5, I have Golf Story. Golf Story is an RPG set in a beautiful pixelated land where you start as a character that's kind of in the style of Mario Tennis on the Game Boy Advance back in the early 2000s, where you control your character who wants to be essentially a golf prodigy like his dad on the Pro Tour. What really stood out for me in this game was the close detail to the animations of the text bubbles, funnily enough. A small little difference that made a huge point in the game, that you could tell if the character was shouting or whether they were whispering based on the animation in the text bubble alone. Overall, I thought it was a really fun game that had a nice little charm and a bit of humour in it. And it had a nice little surprise to be found that the land you were playing on was actually in the shape of Australia.
So my number 4 is Destiny 2. Now, I didn't play much of the first one because I bought the Destiny 1 special edition pack and my PlayStation broke, so I had to give it back. And then I was too far behind in all the DLC. But this time, I got Destiny 2 and the DLC, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I always love playing shooters with my friends. Everyone jumps on, you're all in your fire team. Then you keep going, go through all the raids, go through the strikes, go through the main story. Like at the moment, we've had Michael, who's charged through at the head and is a lot better than the rest of us. Then there's me, and then there's our latest addition, Aaron, who we're all sort of going through the storyline at different levels, helping each other out, leveling up, getting gear, so that we can all get into the later on raids. For me, it's great to dive into more of this storyline. I actually did enjoy the first storyline. Got a bit repetitive, but I did enjoy it, and I'm keen to try the new DLCs. I've just recently seen that they've leaked the next DLC, which is a Mars mission. So that should be pretty fun. And finally, for this one for me, I love versing people. I love Crucible. And funnily enough, I got in and felt I was actually pretty good for this game. I like shooters, as you couldn't tell, but it just, the style, it's got a sort of RPG feel to it, but in the style of a first person.
At number 4, I had Resident Evil 7 Biohazard in VR, just to clarify that. This game was at number 4 for me because it's the first time I've really felt that I was in an actual world and that I've forgotten my outside surroundings. This game scared the crap out of me. I could only play in about half an hour intervals because you're constantly having that feeling of being chased around a swampy land of what looks like Louisiana. I can't remember if it actually mentions, but I was too scared to care anyway. Average graphics aside, it still gave you that feeling that you're in the world in the sense that you could feel flies buzzing around your face and you wanted to swat them away as they came close to you. You're crouching into water. You're crawling around this dilapidated mansion where you have this unknown alien-esque presence following you. If anyone is into horror, I highly suggest you play this. You will get scared the crap out of.
I'm quite disappointed with how Ghost Recon's Wildlands was released and marketed. Great start for number 3, hey? Don't get me wrong, I think this game is awesome. It has a huge map, you're working with friends, which is heaps of fun, you can go in any vehicle, and now there's the addition of player versus player and a Predator level. These are the reasons that this game has landed in my number 3 spot, because it is the next game that I've put so many more hours into after my number 1. So the reason it isn't number 2 or even number 1, or even in my belief game of the year, is the fact that the player versus player was meant to be released 1 week into the actual game's release, and instead it didn't come out ages down the track. I think like 6 months or something like that down the track. And the actual player versus player is really cool. I really enjoyed playing it. It's so intense, tactful, and addictive. It feels like Rainbow Six Siege, except it's a bit more open world. You've got surroundings, not just a building. Also, for me, the reason this wasn't higher on the list is the bad guys become repetitive, and if you're playing single player, it's not as fun. But in saying that, I enjoyed playing with my friends, working out the tactics, and killing everyone.
And now, for me splooging all over Nintendo and giving them all my money. At number 3, I have Mario Odyssey. When I first bought this game, I said I wasn't going to give in to all the hype and immediately rate it as my favourite game of all time. Well, that quickly went out the window the more and more I played. I mean, how could you not love this game? First of all, it's visually beautiful. The mechanics are good fun, jumping all over the place, diving everywhere, rolling around hills. Well, as all the familiar and nostalgic characters you remember being in every individual world. This game took it to another level in terms of replayability, into the stage that you finish the story and you still need another freaking 700 moons to get. You'll be playing this game for hours, I guarantee it. You control Mario, who takes aboard a ship called the Odyssey, and you basically have to rescue Peach from Bowser once again, who has stolen Peach to become his bride and is going from planet to plan the perfect wedding. If you think about it, Bowser's really quite a sweet guy. Do I think it's a 10 out of 10 that a lot of people are giving it? No, I think that it's quite obvious that they were originally developing it for Wii U, but did I have a lot of fun with it? Oh yeah, and I will be playing this game for a lot of years to come.
Hellblade is simply on this list because it is beautiful. The graphics are phenomenal, and I reckon that this game is as close to looking at a movie or TV show as it is possible to present at this present time. Another reason that this game is here is that I am really impressed that the creators went so in-depth with their research on all the mental problems and issues that are represented in this game. It is such a surreal experience to hear the voices on different sides of your headphones, and you should play this game with headphones. And it is even so confronting that you realize that the voices in her head aren't actually talking to Senua, the main character. They are talking to you. So you're sort of involved. Maybe even you're... I haven't finished the game, and I'm not going to give any spoilers. Maybe even you're part of her mental illness. That would be really interesting, so I've got to keep playing this. People believe that the combat system in this is a bit slow. I really like how it's portrayed. It is extremely stylized and, again, beautiful. The reason that this isn't my number 1 is that I haven't played enough of it that I feel that I give it justice. I feel that I'm going to enjoy to continue to play this story because I love Norse mythology, and this story is really getting into it, and I'm really excited to continue and find out more.
It was a close race between number 1 and 2 for me, but at number 2 I have gone with Nintendo's Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild introduced many new mechanics to the Zelda franchise, and as someone who's played basically every Zelda game there is, this was an exciting yet scary prospect for me. But when you start to explore this massive open land, you're really just blown away by how incredible and how much detail went into this game from the developers. Being able to mess around with whatever foods to create different dishes that no one knows about, being able to conduct electricity by placing your metal armor and metal weapons on the ground, having about 30 different ways you can solve a particular puzzle, really just gives this game endless possibilities. And that was a lot of fun, and really was a turning point for Nintendo this year, and got people into buying millions and millions of Switches around the world. Although this was still the same plotline of Zelda gets captured by Ganon and you must go rescue Zelda, it was also exciting to see that there were new things introduced, like DLC with new storylines, and that's very new for a Nintendo game. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, even being my number 2 game, scored a 9.5 out of 10 for me this year.
So now my number 1. For me this year, it is PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, hands down. I do realise that it may not be the best game of the year, in the fact that the graphics aren't good, there isn't a storyline, and there were heaps of glitches, but I sunk so many hours. Like, I just had a look, I've done 180 hours into this game. Not much by some people's standards, but for me, that is a hell of a lot. And I enjoyed every minute of it, especially the ones where I die instantly, because those are so much fun, but those chicken dinners, worth it. For some reason, for me, this game is absolutely addictive, even though there is no storyline. I'm not that great at it, and, you know, it's the same shit every round, but I can't get enough of it. I'm constantly thinking about it, and it only got worse once I got my first chicken dinner. The game itself is only recently out of early release, and I'm not a huge fan of the new map. There are still glitches, but I keep getting good, and you just got to keep playing, plugging in the hours, keep trying. It is amazing when you get the full squad online. Like, there's no better feeling. I can't actually think of anything this year than having a full squad online. But what topped it for me at the end was that they released the vaulting mechanic. It has been amazing, and it helps so much because there's nothing worse getting shot in the head because you can't jump over a bloody wall. These reasons and the amount of hours for me that it is just so addictive is why this is my number one for 2017.
And so the game that came close to losing number one title to Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, but has remained in its spot for good reason, is Horizon Zero Dawn. Horizon Zero Dawn could be named my top game of the year for many reasons. The incredible storyline that has you sucked into every minute, the beautiful landscapes, the incredible gameplay, but it's really the whole package that is why it made my number one game. Never before have I actually stopped to look at my surroundings and say, wow, that is beautiful. It has a camera mode that you can take photos of these landscapes, and this is the only game that has ever actually tempted me to use it. Never before have I called anyone into my room to say, look how amazing this game looks. I only have it on a regular PlayStation. I can't imagine how beautiful it looks on a PlayStation 4 Pro or on a 4K TV. That's probably my next adventure. In what looks like a year one civilization, really has a twist where you have futuristic robotic dinosaurs scouring your lands, and you basically go around killing them with a bow and arrow. Horizon Zero Dawn is a must-play for everyone. One of the best single-player games I've ever played, if not the best. Or even if you just want a relaxing game that's fun to play, beautiful to look at, play Horizon. Perfect 10 out of 10 for me this year.
Now, most disappointed. For me, this was an easy pick. Even though I did not play the game 1 second, the game that was the most disappointing for me was Star Wars Battlefront 2. I still can't even think why they haven't just remastered the old one, because that was perfection. That was amazing. Why did they need to include microtransactions? $2,100 to get everything in the game. Why? Why ruin Star Wars? I have actually boycotted this, and I think Michael has as well. We have not bought this game, even on Amazon Australia, where it went down to $39 on Boxing Day. It is just disgusting. I heard actually pretty good things about the storyline. I've heard that the graphics are amazing. It does look good, but I'm not going to play it solely for the fact that there is so much money involved in this game that you had to pay so much to play something that used to be free. Well, you bought the game, but used to be free to actually play. It was an amazing storyline, amazing game, and I'm just so disappointed in EA and how they've taken Star Wars and the latest game. The first one was okay, and now in comparison it's good, and this one has just let me down, so this is my most disappointing game of the year.
My most disappointing game of the year didn't come so easily, and I think that speaks to the quality of how good this year was for gaming in general. My most disappointing game for the year was Destiny 2. Destiny 2 came out, these mates convinced me to buy it again, so I've gone, alright, I'll see if I enjoy it. Immediately this game sucked me in. The storyline was much better, that of the Taken King expansion of the first one, and it really sucked me in. I was having fun, played the first raid with mates, really enjoyed it, it was a good challenge, but it's just really hard to look past the disappointments, and in Destiny 2 there has been many. For the same reason that Daniel is disappointed with Star Wars Battlefront 2, Destiny 2 has introduced many microtransactions in order to do simple mechanics that were already included in the first Destiny. Destiny 1, you unlocked a colour, you had that colour forever, and you could use it on whatever armour. In Destiny 2, however, the colours have a number on them, and you can only use them on one specific part of armour to count as one. Microtransactions are disappointing. They're taking the fun out of games, and I get a lot of people don't have time to grind and play the game and get these things a reward. They just want it now. But for many gamers, they don't want to have to spend extra money on top of the original $80 to $100 game fee, on top of the $20 for every expansion, which with Destiny is probably one of 5 that's going to come out. Destiny 2 is my most disappointing game, not because it's a bad game, but because we were hoping for so much more, and hoping that they listen to the community after the issues with the first one.
Alright, so we're going to do a little bit different this year. We're going to have 2 what we're looking forward to and most excited for, because there's just so much coming. The 2 games I'm most looking forward to are Death Stranding and Dragon Ball FighterZ. Death Stranding I can't say much on because we absolutely know nothing about it. Even from the 8-minute trailer with gameplay, there is still no idea. I'm very excited. It looks terrifying. There's some amazing actors in it, and it's a Hideo Kojima game. I'm so excited. It's going to be scary. It's going to be violent. It's going to be brutal, and I'm going to play the shit out of it. Dragon Ball Fighter Z is a bit different for me because I am horrendous at fighter games, but I love Dragon Ball Z. It is a 2D platformer game again, so they're bringing that back. The Xenoverse games were pretty fun. I played the first one, but the 3D fighters for me, it's a bit difficult. It's a bit all over the place, but bringing it back. And I love that Teen Gohan and even Mystic Gohan are going to be in it because it's going to be awesome. And they've even got the Super Saiyan Blue style, so it's going to be heaps of fun. And I hopefully will get good at it so that I'm not complete shit like the rest of the fighting games that I've got.
My two most exciting games for hopefully what come out next year. Detroit Becoming Human, which we still don't have a release date on. But the idea of being able to make choices with a character and see how they play out, but also being able to rewind and make the other choice and see how that plays out differently really appeals to me. And it's the same reason that I loved Until Dawn so much a few years ago. My other most excited for a game is Spider-Man. And although we also don't have a release date for this, it's still a good chance to come out next year. An open world Spider-Man would be every comic book superhero fan's dream. Being able to swing all the way through the streets of New York while fighting crime and also having a bit of a storyline should be some good stuff to look ahead to. So that's it for our top 10 2017 games, as well as our top 4 most excited for games and our top 2 most disappointing games for 2017. What do you agree with? Let us know in the comments. If you agree with some of them, disagree with them, let us know. Like, subscribe. We love doing these top 10s. If you like it, let us know if we should do it again next year.
We're going to anyway, but
It'd
be nice of you to tell us that. And yeah, I'd like to add thank you for all your support. We've gained probably like 50, well, pretty much all our subscribers this year. Social media is going huge. Join us on Twitter, Instagram now. We have our Facebook group.
Our individual Twitches.
Which I'm hopefully going to put, I need to go this way, below us. I'll put our Twitch down here. And yeah, come and join us everywhere. We have Best Effort Gaming Twitch as well, which is the joint one, and we hope to see more of you in the future.
And we hope Best Effort Gaming keeps growing every year like it has today.
Share it with your friends, and actually promote us, please. It would be amazing to actually, run into someone in the street and say, hey, you're Best Effort Gaming. I mean, that's a long way down the track, but we can dream. So thank you for an amazing year, and we hope to see you next one.
Happy New Year.